again. I am so excited to see many of you today as we talk about some logistics and talk through some things regarding our national convention, our 47th annual convention in the Las Vegas, Nevada. If you're not excited, if you're not pumped, I don't know why you're here, because I get to see all of my family and friends really, really soon. It's been way too long. I'm tired of seeing y'all on Zoom. I'm tired of going to private rooms. It's time to hug some folks, make sure that everyone's gone through this pandemic, which we're still in. But I am just so excited to come back to Las Vegas in person and connect with you. But I want to, before I say anything further, for those of you who I haven't met, my name is Ashton Henderson. I have the privilege to serve as president of this illustrious organization that we hold near and dear to our hearts, N4A. I'm thankful that I am Robin. And if you don't know Jessica Goerke, she is the GOAT. But I will make sure she gives her introduction here, then we'll get rolling.
Hi, everyone. So happy to see you all, even if it's on Zoom. And how many days are we away from convention, Ashton? 40-ish. Super excited. For those of you who may not know me, I am our Director of Programs and Events on the Board of Directors for N4A. But in addition to that, I have the privilege of being the Deputy Athletic Director in SWA at UC Santa Barbara. I think I saw another Santa Barbaran on the call today, Jack Rivas. What's up, Jack? So really excited to talk with you all about convention and get started.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jess. But before I begin or get into this, I don't know, especially being in this seat, and there's a few other past presidents on here, past President Rivas and many others who I can't see, but I just know being in this seat, the amount of sweat equity and logistics and work to plan a convention is a lot. So can you all do me a favor and just give flowers when we can, show Jess some love. Let her know you appreciate her. There's a lot of work that goes into this, and I'm so thankful for her. Even whatever you want it to be, I see some hands going up, I see some thumbs up, but show her some love in the chat, because she has been just heaven sent, and the yeoman's work she continues to do, so much so that President Nicholson is like, hey girl, you ain't going nowhere next year. So, and that's something she's already signed her contract for. But also we want to shout out all of our N4A board members who are here. Give me a little right hand. I see you, Dr. Mungin, on the right corner of my screen, many others who are here that I can't see. Some of our past board winners, board recipients, Jeremy, Mindy, all of you are here. Thank you all for what you do. Brother Tillman and many others. Brother Fletcher, it's great to see you down in the bayou. Congratulations, many of you. Who are doing some major things. So congratulations in advance to you and Brother Spencer for having the president hit you up, brother. I see that. I see you. But with that too, we're grateful for all that you all do. So we're going to jump into this. I'm so excited, but let me know, give me a thumbs up if you can see the screen so we can get rolling. We just got a brief presentation for you, just so we can walk through this and make sure everyone has that opportunity to get through it. So 1 second. Boom. I also want to shout out my colleague and dear friend and executive board member, Ursula Gurney. Our graphics are off the hook. And if you don't know, she was a part of a huge movement to rebrand N4A and what this looks like. And so we work with a consultant, Old Hat, who has created this amazing brand and moniker for us through this platform. So I'm so grateful that we're able to display these to you today. But Old Hat is doing some great work and continues to flush out some amazing graphics. So with that being said, this year's convention theme is energy, empathy, and empowerment. So those are some things I've been just thinking about throughout my 4 years now, being on the board of directors and serving as president. So we'll talk about this and those E's and why we got to that point. But for me, everything you do, you have to turn up the decibels in life. You got to have energy. You got to continue to show empathy. This has been a hard year and a half, 2 years, still in a pandemic. However, we've transitioned to an endemic. So it's important for us to show up and be gracious and meet those folks where they are. So that's why I chose empathy. Empowerment is what we do each and every single day. Empower our members, empower the people we serve, empower the people we lead, to be the best versions of themselves, which got us to the Triple E experience, which has brought us to our amazing leadership, where I'm thankful for. As I said, President Nicholson is right in the N4A hot seat. It's almost time for her to take over, which I'm really excited for Jackie and her leadership. She's going to be fantastic. I'm also grateful to serve on the executive team with Dr. Kaylee McCauley-Sawyer, as well as Ursula Gurney, who I mentioned. So this is our dynamic executive team in our squad who has planned diligently, along with our board of directors, for you all to be here today. But we won't go into org structure, but we can share this, but just wanted to make sure you all referenced how sophisticated N4A has grown since our 47th year of existence. So more to come, but definitely wanted to have this touch point so you all can understand how massive our association is, how powerful our association is, and all of the above. But I am so excited because of the speaker lineup we were able to curate. Jessica and I, you have no idea, in full transparency, we reach out to a lot of people, and we start this process. I mean, we've been working at this for about 6 to 8 months, and I'm so grateful that our opening keynote will be given this year by none other than the one and only Jamil Hill. I'm so excited to have her. We've been working with her camp and her team. There's going to be some social media graphics and things and some videos you're going to see to kind of drum up some more excitement around the convention legacy here. But Jamil needs no introduction, but I think she's going to bring it and bring it really well and bring some energy, which that will be her topic that she was going to speak more and address in terms of how do we keep our tanks full, all the things in which we are giving to this association and to this field. She's going to help us with some tips there. Huge shout out to NCAA Leadership Development and my brother from another mother and our N4A board member, Lamar Pottinger, who helped secure these next 2 speakers for us. We're making that huge introduction. And each and one of us, the people that you know in your network and sphere of influence, help get these things done. So on the next day, LaChina Robinson, who is amazing, is going to be really leaning into our empathy state, where she's going to be a featured panelist on a Title IX workshop in terms of how do we really help women really progress in this NIL era, and having her be the center of that to lead that conversation is something we're really, really excited about. She too is an amazing on-air personality who is going to rock it, and she's excited to be with us in Vegas and tear it down. Last, but certainly not least, we're going to bring it home with Jess's new bestie, brother Jonathan Sprinkles. Connection is key. If you have not seen this brother, I'm telling you, you're in for a treat. I've gotten the opportunity to know him through the NCAA Leadership Development Circles, as I've led the Emerging Leaders Seminar as an MC. He is fantastic, and we are going to be in for a treat as he talks about the empowerment aspect, but using the realm of communication. So I'm excited about our lineup this year. I'm excited about what we're going to bring to you all, because we had to bring the A-list because the family's coming back home, and we had to do it in a way that was culturally relevant and also very vibrant to represent what we want in this system. So excited about that. Drop me something you're feeling about this speaker lineup in the chat. Let me know what you feel about it. We're excited about it, but please let us know how you feel. That's very, very important to us. Now, y'all know we're not coming back to Vegas and not going to have a party. And not only a party, this is going to be an opportunity for us to celebrate life, each other, our achievements, all the things we've missed over these 2.5 years. So they too told me that the welcome reception hadn't had a DJ since 2019. We are back. DJ Rad One, a core DJs in Las Vegas, Nevada, will be out there with us, spinning tracks at our opening reception, all the way through our welcome reception. And he's going to do something different at our Jim Pignataro Awards Luncheon, where those who have won the Wilma Rudolph Awards will have their own walk-up song this year, family. We not playing. We are intentional. We're going to bring energy. We're going to show empathy, and we're going to empower these young people to know that overcome those obstacles, which we know there's never a dry eye in the room. If you've never been to convention and this is your first time and you get to the Wilma Rudolph segment, please, as you know, they say pack a lunch, pack some tissue, because those stories will move you to tears and what these student athletes have overcome and the adversity that they face. But I'm grateful. So what we're going to do too, family, I'm going to curate some type of list or something. I want to hear what y'all want to know in these playlists. We will be celebrating Pride while we're in Vegas as well, in terms of making sure our list and playlists are inclusive to LGBTQ artists, as well as a segment where you're going to see an amazing outlay of us leaning into Pride in a way in which we have not done before as an association. So be on the lookout for that. There's going to be some spaces where you can share songs you want to hear, because we want to be generationally inclusive, and some other cool things that are going to happen. So there's going to be something for everybody, from the 40s all the way through the Motown era, all the way to, you heard some Fleetwood Mac as you came in. That's Jess's walk-up song and her crew. But we got something for everybody, which I'm really, really, really excited to bring that to the table and to fruition. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Jess so she can talk about more of the national convention kind of setup, what to expect, what not to expect. Then we're going to open it up for questions here at the end so we can answer those for you all. So Jess, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, President Henderson. So just to kind of get really big picture, couple things that I wanted to point out is that this is going to be a festival style convention. So this is the very first year. This was originally the plan for 2020, but obviously we had to pivot away from an in-person convention and do one virtual. So this is going to be the very first year where all of the NACTA affiliates are going to be occurring at the same time. So for those of you who have been part of N4A for a little while, or recall the last time we met was, I believe, in Orlando, maybe DC, they were always kind of staggered. And so if you were an N4A member, you might be kind of kicking off the NACTA convention, but this is going to be the first time that they're all occurring at the same time. So there's a couple features that I do want to point out. N4A registration is going to include admission to the NACTA exhibit hall. So you're going to see that the exhibit hall is, there's one on each day. On Monday, June 27th, that's going to be available from 5 to 8. Tuesday, June 28th from 12 until 2. So generally the lunch hours. And Tuesday, oh, I think I have a typo in here. And then Wednesday, June 29th from 5 until 8. So that is going to be really high energy room. It's going to include food and drinks. There's going to be vendor booths in there from across all of the spectrum of college athletics, because all of the convention affiliate groups are going to be there. It also means, though, that we're not going to have any programming during those hours. So if the exhibit hall hours are going on, we're not going to have any programming, because certainly we're encouraging and we're trying to drive our membership to attend that exhibit hall. And it should be a good time, a chance to get some food, some beverages will be served there at no cost to our membership. So we really want to emphasize that, along with this festival style convention is going to be then, by signing up as an N4A member, you also have that ability to attend other affiliate groups sessions, and likewise. So there's a chance that during our workshops, during our general sessions, we may have some attendees who might be from a different affiliate of NACTA. So it's really, really exciting. And I think it's going to give us an opportunity to get some content, get some professional development, do some networking with some of our colleagues across NACTA. Just really one more thing I want to touch on quickly is more of a housekeeping item, or more of a just so you know item. We've gotten some questions just related to COVID, and I just want to let you know that NACTA is following, and therefore N4A is following all state and local guidelines related to COVID. So as if those get updated or changed, we'll be certain to let you know. But as of right now, last I had checked, Las Vegas does not have any mask requirements, although certainly we encourage anyone who would feel more comfortable to wear a mask to go ahead and do so. But our official position on that is that we're following all state and local guidelines. If you could go to the next slide for me real quick. There are 2 NACDA featured sessions. So in addition to the keynote speakers that you saw, our featured speakers, that the 3 that we listed, there's also going to be 2 NACDA featured speakers that everyone is going to have access to. So Dr. Robert M. Gates is scheduled for Monday, June 27th at 4 p.m. There is going to be a second speaker, but that has not been released publicly yet. So keep your eyes peeled for who the second featured speaker is going to be here. And I imagine in the next couple weeks or so. All right, so I really want to emphasize and promote the NACDA convention website. I am going to plug this link in the chat so that you all have it. But this is a really great landing spot for anything convention related. So not only if you have the ability to pull that up, Ashton, there's a couple things that I want to point out. Thank you. So information related to registration, air travel, the app that will be coming out here in a couple weeks will be available through here. So this is a fantastic landing page for all of your convention needs. And in addition to that, our current agenda and most updated agenda, this is where you can find this. So in addition to our agenda, which I encourage you to review, this is also a good place to if you were in need of a hotel roommate, let's say, you could put yourself on the roommate list. Now, last I checked, so the hotel is currently sold out. It is entirely booked. But one of the beautiful things about Las Vegas is that there are a ton of hotel accommodations that are very close by. Although I don't know, everything is big in Vegas, so maybe close by isn't the correct term to use. But if you were not able to secure a hotel at the convention rate, certainly that there are dozens of other options all within close proximity. I also want to point out that there is a discount on airfare travel. So in general, don't necessarily need to go over each one, but this is a really, really handy place, and NACDA is constantly updating it with information, including anytime we're updating our agenda, we're plugging it in here. So I encourage you all to check out that website. Only other thing then about this area that I want to point out is that our early bird registration we are going to be running into the deadline here. Believe it or not, we are almost at the end of May. So our early bird registration is May 30th. I do want to just put a disclaimer on that is Memorial Day. So, make sure that you have that marked in your calendars if you have not registered for a convention yet. There is obviously a non-early bird registration rate, but as you can see from our charts here, it does jump up $100. So we encourage everyone as much as possible to go ahead and register for convention this month. The mobile app that is scheduled to be released in early June, in addition to the NACDA website, that will include the abstracts. So the session descriptions, those types of things, those will be available in the mobile app. Other things I want to touch on is some things related to accessibility and inclusion. So preferred pronouns, those will be available to be placed on your name badges this year. We're also going to have gender neutral restrooms available, and we've requested accessible seating at the front and back of each room. So if you or if anyone who needs some accessibility seating, we're going to have that available as well. As you're going through the agenda, you'll notice this year, I think we've done this in the past, but we're going to have a series of workshops, and some of them had designated tracks. That is just feedback that I've largely received from our members as being helpful, particularly our new members, and helping them decide on what topic or what larger area each workshop goes to. It's certainly not exclusive. Like, let's say you're looking at the agenda and you see that there's an advising track or a learning specialist track. It's certainly open to everyone to attend whichever session they want, but we do ask that our presenters, when they're submitting their workshop proposals, kind of indicate what track it best fits into, so that our members have an idea of what that topic area is going to relate to. So want to point that out. That's what the tracks mean. And then we also have some hot topics topics town hall meetings on our last day. We're still in the process of curating our list of hot topics, but that will also be added to our agenda here shortly. Probably within the next week or so, we'll have our hot topics on there. Just off the top of my head, some of the things that we plan, some of our hot topics, town halls that we plan on including name, image, likeness, information about student athlete mental health, trends in DEI, those types of things. So that will be available shortly. Okay, so now we kind of get into the portion of our webinar where I also really want to lean heavily on this group here. We have plenty of individuals on this call, I'm sure, who either have not been to a convention at all or may not have been to a convention while it since when it was in person. So I kind of have some tips and tricks that I wanted to share with you. One of which is that we're going to be using N4A EEE as our official hashtag of our convention. So this will be a good hashtag to use as we're going through convention and leading up to convention. We're encouraging all of our committees, our working groups, any of our other affiliate members to use this hashtag so that it's easy to follow along with events that are going on. Or let's say even, you know, we certainly work hard in this profession, but we also like to play hard. And at convention, we will have happy hours that may be put together organically. So we're encouraging our members to kind of use this space to communicate with one another. Other things is the convention space. This one came from our NACDA affiliate. So what NACDA had recommended, and certainly Ashton and I did get a chance to do a walkthrough of this space, is that the convention space is a long walk from the hotel rooms. So even if you're within the Mandalay Bay facilities, it's still a pretty decent walk. So you're going to want to make sure you're leaving yourself plenty of time to get to the sessions. But the good news about being at the Mandalay Bay is there's a ton of different eating options and whatnot. So for those of you who were able to book a hotel through the convention space or even any of the neighboring spaces, my recommendation is just to leave plenty of time to get to the sessions. If you can actually maybe just go to the next slide, and I'll come back to this one for a second. I just want to show you a map real quick. So where the convention center is at is a pretty decent walk, but then once you get over to where our rooms are located, this area that I have boxed off in red, once you actually get to the programming and are going between workshops, we're largely going to have all of our programming in this box. So other than just getting to the convention space, everything else is pretty close by. So that travel time between sessions, you should have plenty of time to be able to stop by the restroom or grab something to eat or drink between sessions. And then I'll have you hop back over, Ashton, to the previous slide. This is where I would really love to get audience participation. For those of you who have been to conventions before, I was hoping we could take maybe some volunteers, raise your hand, and I can call on you about what you would recommend. What are some things that you would give to recommendations that you would give to members who either haven't been to a convention in a long time, or this may be their very first in-person convention or their very first convention in general? The two things that immediately came to my mind is don't forget to bring your business cards. It's an easy way to exchange contact information with people that you meet. And then this one for myself anyway, Las Vegas is hot, but convention centers are usually cold. So don't be fooled by the heat in Las Vegas, because make sure you bring a jacket. If you're someone who runs cold like myself, you may be hoping that you actually brought maybe like a suit jacket or some type of jacket to wear in the rooms themselves. But what else? Would love to hear from you all, our membership, who really drive the energy and in our association.
Jess, I would like to say too, I know we haven't done this in a while, so we want to make sure that your lanyard and your accessibility into this conference is your lanyard. So what I'm trying to say is there's no jumping the fence. You know, everybody has to be in here in terms of that. You know, we've all done it. I've done it as well. So I just want to make sure we're in compliance with making sure that your badge is your badge. Your your preferred pronouns and who you are and identification. NACDA is not playing. We got security, not top flight security of the world, Craig, but we got some real security, some folks that's going to be at the door, checking and making sure you are who you say you are, because we don't want just anybody and everybody coming in, because we want to ensure your health, wellness, and safety of each and every one of you remain our top priority. So just, we got some hands up. So I'm gonna let you do your thing.
Yes, I'll go with my, he's just down the road from UCSB, my friend and colleague, Zach Reed at Cal Poly.
Hey people, now that Ashton kind of scared me, I don't know if I want to say this, but what I was going to say is get in a car or go have a meal with someone that you don't know, but make sure they've got a badge. Okay, make sure they've got a lanyard. But as someone who's only been in the industry for 5 years, like I can tell you, you're going to see a lot of people in Vegas that you might never see again if you don't reach out and make that connection. And those are honestly some of the most cherished connections that I now have. So invite somebody who you don't know and go say hi, get in the car with them, go have a meal.
All right, Aaron.
Yeah, just going off of what Zach said, I love that. Just being able to get to know people who you don't know. I'm just going to piggyback off of that a little bit, just to be intentional and authentic in your connection, whoever you're connecting with. Along the lines of what Zach said, there are a lot of people, you're going to see a lot of different people, but I encourage you to just be authentic and intentional with who you're connecting with, and have fun.
Yes. Fun is key. Fun is key. And I'll add to what you were saying as well, is I think there's certainly always a lot of pressure on our new members to be the ones networking, but I would also challenge those of you who are veterans on this call that we're often in positions where it's a lot more comfortable for us to be networking with those who are new. So even though you may not be a new member, maybe stop by new member orientation, get a chance to introduce yourself to some of our new members to make them feel really comfortable in this space, because they haven't been here in person and it can feel really isolating to them. So thank you for that, Aaron. Jack.
Hello, everybody. Really just, it's the same message. Reach out, talk to people, meet people, really engage in conversation. I mean, let's face it, some of the best things that happen are not when you're in the workshops. It's when you're walking to and from places, it's when you have meals together, it's at the social hours. It's amazing. I can honestly say that I have an N4A family. I have people who have been friends of mine, because I am the OG. First convention was 81 that I went to. So many of you weren't even born yet, but I have these lifelong friends, all from N4A. I do have an N4A family. So if you see me, come out, talk to me. I'll be happy to explain how the field has progressed, gone linear, or digressed in the last 45 years, whatever you wanted to mention. But please, talk to people, meet people. Don't stay with your little cliques. Branch out, meet as many people as you can. Thanks, Jess.
Yeah, thank you, Jack.
Jess, before I move to the next person, OG, I got to interject here. Shout out to Jack. Today is his birthday. As you can see, he could be any place, but he's here with this N4A family, giving the wisdom that he's been giving since 81. So I want everybody to stop and give Jack his flowers. Happy birthday.
Thanks, Renee.
Man, love you, man.
Happy birthday.
Hold on. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
There you go. There you go.
Happy birthday. Where you at? Happy
You got it. You got it.
birthday. We love you, Jack. We appreciate you,
Happy
brother.
birthday, Jack.
Thank you.
Meredith, what can you top that?
Oh, I don't know if I can top that. Thank you, Sebastian. I would definitely say bring a water bottle. And if you're going to hit up Starbucks, get there early, because a lot of times that line's going to be super long and you'll miss things. But to touch on what everybody said, the networking is huge. One of the easiest ways, I think, in a situation is just to go do the community service event, get to know a ton of different people from a ton of different schools.
Yes.
The biggest thing I would plug right now, it's not even my event, but I'm going to plug it anyways.
Yes, thank you. And Rachel just shared the Google form for that. So thank you so much for bringing that up. Yes, let's plug the community service event. I do know that an email went out last week about it. And I think one of the things I wanted to point out is even if you can't make the 1 to 4 p.m., you know, if you can only make an hour, like please show up. There's going to be different segments to the community service event. If you wanted to go to that before going to new member orientation, don't feel like you have to pick one over the other. So thank you, Meredith. And thank you, Rachel, for dropping that in the chat. Jason.
Good afternoon, everyone. No, my one piece of advice for those who are new and have never been to convention, or those who have been to conventions and maybe seeking other opportunities, make sure you bring your resume, because if you're like me, your email is inundated with job openings every other hour, it seems like. So make sure you bring your resume, seek out the people who you're trying to meet with, you know, for those openings, if that's something you want to do, you know. So that's just my 2 cents.
No, I love that. I think there's certainly been more than one convention where maybe the topic didn't necessarily, or the abstract wasn't necessarily something that I was maybe drawn to specifically, but I was really drawn to the speakers who were presenting, and like, oh, but I really want to get to know that person. This is going to be my opportunity to get in there, learn a little bit more about what they're doing, and then have a conversation with them afterwards. So great advice. Kendra, I don't know if Meredith took yours, or do you have another one to share?
I do. There's a 5K that COSIDA hosts on Monday morning at 7 a.m. and I just signed up. So if anybody wants to run the 5K with me, Monday at 7 a.m.
Do you have a link you could drop in the chat by any chance?
I can. From where I just signed up, I'll get it.
Perfect. That would, not to put you on the spot, but that would be great. I will not be signing up. But let's just clarify. I'll be at the buffet and probably in line at Starbucks already.
Yes, I think with that too, that brings up an organic point about what time zone the convention has in. So I don't know if you want to address that, because when you said 7 a.m., that can be 10 a.m. for us East Coast. I mean, simply 4 a.m. for some East Coast, but you know what I mean.
Nope, you got it right.
I had it right the first time, but you know what I mean.
First time. No, yes, it's Pacific time. So I had to Google it myself, but Las Vegas is on Pacific time. The best time zone. Todd.
Well, I'll be at the pool at that time for the 5K, so I appreciate that offer. I'll be thinking of you in the beautiful weather of Las Vegas. Jason, I appreciate you bringing it up. I just had a question. I'll probably have a position open, and I was wondering, are we doing any type of career posting of resumes, positions, things we've done in the past? I know we've gone mega with the size and everything, but just kind of curious, because I'm hoping to meet maybe some prospects out there that might be interested in becoming a Blue Raider. So
that's a fantastic question. I mean, Ashton, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we have any plan. When we went virtual, we kind of created discussion board posts that individuals could post on, but we don't have, I mean, I think my very first convention, it was in Buffalo, and I think there was literally a room full of like almost peg boards that you can put up if you had positions open. I think we've gone such in the way of using the listserv, but it's not really something, you know, right, wrong, or otherwise, it's not really actually something we've thought about until now. So I'm glad you brought that up. And I think we need to brainstorm as a board and as an executive committee and see what the solution to that might be.
And Todd, it's great to see you too, brother. One of the major things that traditionally have been done, and I know, and this giving grace for all of us, since we've not done this in a couple of years, but typically in the region meeting space, at the end of the conclusion of the region meeting, all region directors invite folks up who have job openings to come up to the microphone and share that opportunity and seek folks to find you out if they're interested. Then we take that information and send that out on a listserv so people know that there's a job opening at your institution, so we can make sure we get you connected with the folks who are seeking. And many moons ago, there used to be a badge when you could sign up, and that's something we could talk about, that you're seeking a job. are having that opportunity on you. So that's maybe something that we can weave into prior to by color code, especially with your preferred pronoun, and the opportunities there. So thank you for bringing that up, Todd.
Yeah, just any of those opportunities. I think Jack and I are the oldest in here, so, but any of those, I'm desperate in need. There'll be a signing bonus, everything, possible. So thank you for that opportunity.
And I like the idea too, that maybe it would encourage the use of the badges. No, I think that could be something we could work with. Mindy, you have your hand up. Welcome. Mindy's a member of our board.
Hi, guys. I think the one bit of advice I would give is for what I'm going to deem convention orphans. If you are the only member of your institution who is going, if you're a small school or your school could only afford to send one person, like everybody mentioned, networking is huge, but don't be afraid to connect with somebody, anybody, and have a meal. Like it can be very overwhelming with the very large number of people, especially if you're new and you don't necessarily know folks, or you're the only person from your institution. So don't be afraid to ask somebody you're sitting next to, like, hey, can we have lunch or can we have breakfast together? I think as a group, we're collectively very, very open. We're always willing to meet new people and make folks feel comfortable. So if you are a convention orphan, don't feel like you have to hang out by yourself the whole time. You can come find me if you have nobody else, and I'll have a meal with you. So just like I said, don't be afraid to kind of hang out or ask for somebody to spend some time with you so that you don't have to be by yourself the whole time.
Jack.
Yeah, I remembered something else. One of the things I must have done probably 6 or 7 years in a row, I opened my room for roommates. So if you have the ability, if you're not someone who has to have 100% privacy, reach out, especially to grad students, interns, all those kinds of people. That's who I had, I think 7 straight conventions. I had some random person who I had no idea who they were until I met them that day, who was going to be my roommate. So if you have it within you, reach out, help out some of these folks, because some of them are paying out of pocket. And so the more we can help them, the better. I urge you to be open to that idea.
Yeah, and certainly, I know budgets for professional development have certainly been cut over the last few years. So we, as an association, we've also tried to be very mindful of the costs associated with going to convention.
I think too, I'll address this, just kind of came up, I think, especially if this is your first convention. And Emily, we got you. We got you. Don't worry. You're going to be surrounded by a whole host of new family members and many others this is your first convention. But I will say social responsibility. And what I mean by that is as a new practitioner, and specifically being in an environment where we haven't been in a while, especially being in Vegas, temptation is real. And the things of which I mean by that with libation. So never know who's watching and how they're watching and how it will show up in an opportunity for you down the road. So just be very mindful when you get in these networking spaces of your consumption and where you're consuming and how you're consuming and what you're consuming of, because you don't want that to be a reflection of who you truly are. And we know each and every one of you want you to be at your best at all the time, not telling you what to do. I'm just saying, be mindful of that as you're networking and back, because I know being at an event, it took me a while to get back and retrain how to connect and rework with people. And, so that's very, very important too, especially for my young professionals and those of you who are always, as my guy, Eric Wood would say, who was a former N4A member, but also now is the athletic director at Raw Tech. Every day is an interview. So just keep that in mind.
Right. Any other last advice before we move to maybe more of a Q&A? Although I suppose some of you did ask questions, but I kind of, wanted to just open this up to any questions that the group also may have. I know Ash and I talked ahead of time about a little bit of what inspired us to have this webinar, and it's largely something as simple as, the time zone question, which is that Ashton and I and the rest of the board have been really living in this space for the last 7 to 8 months. And we don't always know what our membership doesn't know. So if there's questions that you're having as you're navigating this process, like, this is a really great time for us to hear that, because you're probably not the only members feeling that way or having those questions. And we want to make sure that this is as seamless of a process and experience as possible.
Y'all quiet?
It just means we've done a good job messaging.
There you go.
There's no questions.
There you go. But I will say this before, another cool thing that we never want to forget is our history. This is our 47th year of existence. And one of the things as an executive team that you'll see this year specifically is at the inaugural Jim Pignataro Awards Luncheon is we're going to have a video to really explain why we've named awards after certain N4A presidents and various things as to why they exist. Because as we continue to get further and further, it's important for you all to know who these pillars and giants are in our industry. And little did you know, one of our founding members of our association, outside of co-founders out of Frank Downey in 1975 at the University of Kentucky, Dr. Clarence Underwood, is alive and well. And he is in better shape than me and probably some folks on this call with, and he's sharp as a tack. And I'm very thankful that he represents us and he has a compelling story that he's going to tell during this association in a time while we're at the awards luncheon. So always embracing who we are and our historical efforts. And as we plan, and I know President Nicholson is excited as we welcome in 50 years of this great association, which is unbelievable to think about, but we are on the cusp of that and we're already planning and thinking about that. So.
All right. Well, with that, I think we'll close out our webinar if there aren't any questions. And again, I really can't emphasize enough how excited we are to be back in person. And I know Ashton spent some time thanking me, but it has been an absolute privilege and honor to be his director of program and events. As you like, this energy that you see here, this is not a show. He is like this every day. I can only imagine how his student athletes feel at Michigan State, because I've just seen it firsthand, how much he pours into our membership. And I think we're so lucky to have had you as our president this past year. So also let's make sure we give him some love as we're closing out this session.
Thank you, Jess. Really appreciate you. Family, we can't wait to get back. It's going to be awesome. Renee, it's so good to see you. Just to give you some historical context, 6 years ago, she told me I could do this and I can be president, and I laughed. And here we are 6 years later. So I thank you for your vote of confidence and many others. It's been an awesome, awesome run. And Jackie, ooh, I can't wait to get this thing over to you, girl. Ooh. Y'all have a blessed one. Thank you so much, Jess. Thank you for everything. Y'all have a great day. Keep bringing the energy, keep showing empathy, and empowering people to be the best versions of themselves. We will see you in less than 40 days, not 40 nights, but 40 days. Let's do it. Have a good one, family.